Canada, and the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières was the host for the first ever FIA World Rallycross Championship round to take place outside of Europe. With all the action happening in just one day, the teams battled each other as well as an ever-developing track. After 6 winners in 6 rounds, anything was possible in the final, but this year Petter Solberg is hungry for success and was the first driver to go back for seconds, bagging victory number 2 of the season.
I don't know what happened, but I was very happy, that's for sure. I saw the TV after, and yeah, I was jumping the roof, and I said, you know, I can jump the roof every race, no problem at all. But I will not change the roof at all this year, you know.
Solberg's win means he has a 20-point lead over Topi Heikkinen, who is followed by Reinis Nitish, Andreas Backerud and Anton Markland. The latter 4 drivers represent the top 2 outfits in the team's championship. Fordo MSC had a 59-point advantage just 2 rounds ago, but poor form on their part and a bag of great results from the Markland Motorsport drivers means both teams are on equal points with 5 rounds to go.
Me and Backerud, we are really good friends, and you know, we help each other in the race and in the paddock as well, and that's the whole team is the biggest thing who make everything really good in the track as well, and that's why we are in the top.
It's like building up a football team with 11 players. You cannot have 11 young guys, 17 years old, the hungry guys, and we have the experienced, patient guys which are going around, and I think that affects it all.
But like me and Anto, we are really hard drivers together, so we're always fighting each other, and I think that's the key, and that's why we came in some points. And of course we can't stop it yet. We have a still long season, and I think we need to push hard.
The most important thing that you're having a good team that's working hard, and also that the team spirit is really important, that you can be relaxed as a driver, and that you can act as a family, and that everybody's working against the same goal. And I think that's what everybody's doing right now. Everybody wants to win the championship.
The wildcard drivers don't need to worry about the team's championship. Returning for his 2nd round this season is American star Ken Block.
Absolutely, I had a great time in hell there in Norway. Really enjoyed myself, but it took a bit of getting used to new start procedures, you know, different type of qualification, all that sort of thing than what we have in the States. So, but at the end I felt very comfortable, felt much more comfortable with going, you know, fast and door to door with everybody, and so be able to take that comfort here, once again be able to attack a very fun rallycross track.
Round 8 sees the championship move to Loheac in France. The next 3 rounds will be in Europe before the teams travel to Turkey and then on to Argentina for the season finale. The French track will be a bubbling pot of Gallic passion this weekend, with strong support for the home drivers. Coming up today, we have the highlights from Heats 1 and 2. We take a look at what's needed for the perfect start. We've got race action from Heat 3, and then it's crunch time as Heat 4 sees the cut before the semi-finals. We have the semi-finals live, the live Super 1600 final, and finally the big one, the Supercar final, and all the reaction live as it happens. Here's the track preview presented by Ion Cameras. Away from the line, it's a short blast down to a tight turn 1, then onto the gravel through turn 2. A big bump on the brakes as you go into turn 3, where the track splits into the Joker lap. The Joker has a jump and a chicane. The standard lap comes very fast around the outside, and they merge before a left and a right, and back to the finish. A stunning day and a massive crowd saw Heat 1 get underway in France. It was a great start for local fans when Monster Energy's resident Frenchman won the very first heat race. Unfortunately, David Genet was later disqualified for being underweight. The Fordo MSC team didn't have a great day. Backer had jumped the start, then stalled at the restart. It didn't look much better for his teammate Nitish when he ran over the gravel at turn 1. Nitish recovered to go 4th fastest, but Solberg took an easy race win to take 3rd overall. Timosyanov was lucky to make the start after injuring his hand in an off-track incident. He suffered again at turn 1, leaving Ken Block to take a seemingly easy win. Unfortunately, the American superstar had forgotten to joker and received a 30-second penalty.
My spotter just neglected to tell me I was on the last lap, and unfortunately it puts me in a huge deficit, and as long as I keep the speed I've got, I think I can climb back up.
Liam Doran is here in his team manager role. Henning Solberg in the second Monster Energy car retired after contact. Topi Heikkinen, after a tricky start, took the race win. So it wasn't a great heat time from the championship frontrunner. Fastest in Heat 1 was Timmy Hansen. A great start and an early lead for Peugeot at their home event. Heat 2 saw a great recovery for all three of Monster Energy's drivers. Ken Block took the race win with an impressive time. Henning Solberg and Davy Genet were close behind. Backward had another dreadful start. With some robust driving, he fought his way back to second in his race. Topi Heikkinen did well to save a massive moment in turn 1, but then lost track position when he jokered behind Andy Scott and got caught out at the merge. Anton Markland held off a charging Timozyanov in their race, but there was no doubting the man of the moment, Timmy Hansen, as he went fastest overall again. The double heat win seeing him top the standings overnight. Hansen with a perfect 100 points at the top of the table. Peter Solberg in second, Tiedemann third, a great performance from him. Just outside the top 12 is Ken Block and second place championship runner Topi Heikkinen. They've got to fight their way back in on a very tough circuit.
This track is so hard on tires, and if we look at them, the edge is already starting to come off, but I'm trying to drive very smooth, and that should probably be a benefit. It's going to be a lot tougher now. I know I'm going to have 4 really quick guys alongside me, so yeah, it just keeps getting more difficult, I think.
So a very difficult Saturday. Talk us through heats 1 and 2.
Yeah, difficult was the right word to choose. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was so into it today. I was supposed to do a really good race, and I had a really good feeling. Was leading the practice for a while. Pace felt really great this morning, and yeah, in the heats, just, I mean, a little bit too low RPM for the starts, bugs in the start. So I mean, yeah, we get it tomorrow hopefully, and I feel the pace on the track is okay. Bit of a fight with Josh. Pushed him a little bit hard, so I'm sorry for that, Josh. But anyway, I enjoyed to be here in France, back again, where I had a brilliant result last year. I just need to take my teeth together and you know, push hard, go flat out tomorrow, and hopefully I can be on the semi.
Pontus, well done. Heats 1 and 2 finished, and you're currently third. It must feel pretty good.
Yeah, it's just so good it can be. It's I mean, it's the best this season, so everything is working really perfect, and we really enjoy this. And it's a lot of people here, and track is cool, and looking forward really for tomorrow.
And what's the secret to being so fast on this circuit? Because it's not an easy circuit.
No, it's not easy, but we have good cars. Cars is running good on this track, so yeah, we work on some details, and tomorrow I think we can be a little bit more faster, but we just work on every detail and just do the best we can and have fun.
Fun is good, but I guess you also have to now manage your tyres a little bit. Talk us through the tyre situation.
Yeah, for sure. It's quite aggressive, as everyone said, on this track. But yeah, we have a good strategy for that, we think, and the car and it's quite smooth on the tires. So for us, I don't think that will be any problem. I hope.
2 very different heats for you. Talk us through a summary of day 1.
Yes, day 1 is a good day, but this car is good. The feeling is very, very good. The chassis is perfect, and for the first hit is bad results because the weight is too much light. But the second hit is good results. Place 6, good for tomorrow. Tomorrow my goal is the final. Wow, the podium.
In the 1 hour at 6 p.m. for the Adorn session. En langue anglaise, en langue allemande.
The start of Heat 3 in France was an all-French affair. Race 1, 3 French drivers who struggled yesterday. It was Alexander Tulle who got away from the grid fastest and took the checkered flag. in race 2 in the Citroën C4. Jean-Baptiste Dubourg, who's been doing very well in the French Championship this year, took the win. Race 3, Jos Janssen led from the start. He held on for a couple of laps, but in the end he had to give up first to Rodolphe Adorn, who took the race win. Race 4 saw a fantastic start for Andreas Backerud. He had a dreadful day yesterday, fluffed all his starts, even had a jump start. No problems today. He's back on top. Tommy Heikkinen on the inside for VW made some changes overnight. Wasn't happy with the car yesterday. Got away first. This was Herb Napik. Contact with Derek Tohill, which ended up with Napik in the gravel trap. And left Tommy Heikkinen to take the race win easily. Andy Scott, another fantastic run from the Scottish driver. Got the whole shot off the start, held on after the Jokers. A brilliant performance by the Albertech driver.
Next heat race is lining up already. Non-stop action here. Heat 3, race 7. Davy Genet, Anton Markand, Pontus Tiedemann, Timur Timosyanov and Jerome Grosset-Janin. This is going to be a hell of a race down to turn 1. Frenchman Genet on the inside, Frenchman Grosset-Janin on the outside. On board with Markand as he pulls the handbrake on. No blinking. Away from the line. It's a really, really even start. Tiedemann's been dropped slightly. It's a good start from Timosyanov. Markand's on the inside though. Markand gets into out to turn 1 first, into turn 2. Grosset-Janin's been dumped to the back of the field. Wingmer is hanging off from contact already. It's Markand who leads. Tiedemann's having a look up the inside, almost into the back of Timosyanov. Genet as well. Genet decides to go for the Joker and Grosset-Janin goes with him.
Yeah, Timur had maybe the best start on the outside, but like here, you know, Markland was on the inside. Did not the best start, but he was very aggressive and he just leaned on the other ones on the outside, so that paid off here. But you need to be aggressive on the inside. So that was a great move. Maybe a bit risky because he knew there will be contact, but yeah, it paid off here.
Markand with another strong weekend over the bumps that lead into turn 2 onto the gravel section. Eric, tell us about the surface here, because it's not gravel like it is elsewhere.
No, it's more like tarmac with some very thin gravel on it, and it, you know, the gravel goes away quite quick, so yeah, it's almost like a circuit racing track with tarmac all over. Of course, it's a bit more slippery on the gravel section.
Contact between Tiedemann there and Grosset-Janin. Just as they merged, Grosset-Janin gave Tiedemann a little bit of a tap, and Tiedemann's rear left wheel is smoking now as he comes onto the start-finish straight. Smoke pouring from that. He's managed to hold on to the position. He'll be hoping that that isn't going to a puncture. We're hearing via our headsets that Grosset-Janin has been given a warning for that immediately. I think that's about right, Eric.
Yeah, I think it's a warning is right.
We saw a couple of people yesterday were black flagged. I spoke to one of the stewards. One of the team managers was there going, oh no, he didn't mean it, he didn't mean it. And he said it's the 3rd time I've told him. So he got black flagged for it. So yeah, we don't want too much contact in rallycross. There is a little bit here and there. There is that warning flag now being held out for Grosset-Janin. He's at the back, been told off a little bit. So Markand and Timosyanov still have to joke up. It's the final lap, so they're going to go together. So these boys aren't going to swap places, but they know if they go together and they don't hold each other up, this is going to be a fast heat race, I think.
Yeah, but David Genet here in 3rd. I think maybe he can take the heat win because it was very close to them. And he has a good run on the outside here now.
Listen to the crowd. You can hear the crowd in the background, and Genet is going to come around the outside. Great shout by Eric Fahren, spots it first. Tiedemann as well slots his way back up into 2nd place. It's going to be Davy Genet for the Monster Energy World RX team with bits hanging off the car. Comes over the start-finish line. The grandstand are very, very pleased with that indeed. Great drive by Genet.
Yeah, and I think Markland had struggled a bit in the Joker. So that was, you know, a bit of a disaster for Timur that followed him.
Davy Genet takes the win. Pontus Tiedemann is 2nd. Markland 3rd, possibly holding up Timosyanov in the Joker. And Grosset-Janin down in 5th. Genet goes into 3rd, so it's Backerud who continues to lead Heat 3 as we come towards the last couple of races. The last race, in fact, just one more to go. Here's the replays. Timosyanov very quick, as you say, but Markland on the inside.
Yeah, and very aggressive. You know, he know there's cars on the outside, but he still just drift into the 1st corner. And yeah, the car was winning one piece and he could...
This was the contact for which Grosset-Janin was told off. could see the tyre then was smoking for the whole of the rest of the race. Markland and Timosyanov, and yeah, you're right, look at the speed Timosyanov was trying to carry, and he just he couldn't. Markland didn't carry the speed through the Joker section and slotted in behind Tiedemann just prior to those last couple of corners. One more heat race to go, but first of all, Davy Genet with Neil Cole.
So that was a very good race, especially the last lap.
Yes, the start is difficult, but the result is perfect. It's fantastic. After the first hit yesterday, after the disqualification, it's damage. But today, it's very fast. Yeah.
Merci, thank you.
Thank you.
Fantastic to hear Davy Genet there, improving his English all the while. Brilliant, brilliant driver. Fantastic to see him take a win. Heat 3, race 8, though. This is the one everybody's waiting to see. Timmy Hansen on the inside won both heats yesterday. American superstar Ken Block was rapid. Petter Solberg, the championship leader, Renis Nitish, and Henning Solberg, Petter's brother, on the outside. So who's your money on into turn 1? This is going to be a lottery. Green flag is about to go up. Flag at the back of the grid, flag at the front of the grid. Clunk, click, everything's into place. Launch control on. You're on board with Nitish there. Hansen on the inside. Oh, it's an even start. Hansen gets great traction from grid slot number 1. Ken Block has a look up the inside, but can't make it stick. Solberg around the outside. He's going to end up in the gravel trap. Nitish is alongside him. Hansen leads. Solberg's managed to get in front of Nitish. Oh, look at Henning Solberg all the way around the outside. So spectacular, but Hansen on the brakes at the end of the straight and in control of this one. Who's going to go to the Joker? Nitish goes to the Joker, and with him goes Henning Solberg.
Yeah, perfect start from Timmy from the inside, and maybe not the best start from Ken Block, but he was on the inside, so he managed to hold off the other ones.
And Ken moved across very quickly there, Eric. Is that to protect himself from the other drivers on the grid?
Yeah, because you know, when you're on the inside, you can lean on the cars from the outside, and no one can push you off really. So I think he felt he made a quite bad start, but then it was just, I need to be on the inside.
Now, Timmy Hansen this morning, we saw, chose grid slot number 1 in free practice. He went off that slot twice, didn't he? And he tried the braking zone twice on the inside. And he was the only driver to do that, Eric.
Yeah, he's very smart, and you're thinking about these small details. And yeah, he had a perfect start now, and he knew exactly what speed he could carry into the first corner from the inside.
Ken Block and Petter Solberg, good friends from their days in the World Rally Championship. Let's see if they're good friends if they end up with contact on the track today. Ken is always up for a race with Petter. Contrast the two driving styles. Solberg is pitching the car around in the background, and last year that was what wore his tyres out.
Yeah, and I think it will do this year also. So I think maybe that will be a problem for him, because the track is, very hard on tyres. And you can see Timmy's driving style is more better for the tyres, but they're equally fast.
Timmy Hansen, very, very fast yesterday with his economical driving style. Hansen had been watching the onboards of Chris Meek from the previous season. So Chris Meek, of course, is currently a works driver in the WRC with Citroën, was here last year in an Albertech 208. And Timmy had been watching his onboards and was fascinated at Chris's approach to some of the corners, particularly the long right-hander. Hansen's about to go into the Joker lap. There you see him winding the lock on, doesn't use the handbrake, pulls a couple of gears. He's got the Crest to go. Then the left and the right. So through the left and the right, he clips the hay on the left-hand side, rips the banner off there, through the long right-hander. He's just got the left to go. He's miles in front. Solberg has managed to get in front of Block, so good job by him. Block and Solberg are side by side, but it's Hansen who's going to take this one. Checkered flag for the Works Peugeot driver. Block and Solberg side by side over the line. So close between them. Nitish and then Henning Solberg at the end. Absolutely brilliant heat race, but most impressive of all was Timmy Hansen. I'm just looking to see where that time's going to be. I think he is. Eric Farren gives me the signal to say that Hansen has gone quickest. So we're going to see Timmy Hansen winning 3 out of the 4 heats. That is absolutely fantastic. Look at that start.
Yeah, perfect start from the inside. And as you said, he was practicing in the warm-up that first line enter of the first corner. So yeah,
we're looking at the screen in here, and our timing screen, and Timmy Hansen's just gone nearly 2 seconds faster than Andreas Backward. That's a hell of a time by Hansen.
Yeah, perfect race.
Brilliant, perfect weekend so far.
Yeah.
3 from 3 heat wins. And look at this in the background. This was Block and Solberg crossing the line together. It's a brilliant picture. If there are any photographers outside turn 1, they'll be loving that. Here's the result. Timmy Hansen with a 2:34.079. Petter Solberg, Ken Block, Rainis Nitish, Henning Solberg. There's where they slot in. Bang. Timmy Hansen straight to the top. A 1.9 second gap. That is very impressive indeed. 3 heat wins from 3 heats. And the heat winner is down with Neil Colt right now.
Not just 3 out of 3, but an incredible time. Did it feel quick?
Yeah, I mean, I think the most impressive about this for me was the start. This car is absolutely amazing off the line. I lift the clutch and the traction is the best it's ever been. And on the track, since this morning, we tried a lot, and I think we're even faster today. So there's 1 heat to go, and I just need to get it to the finish there, and then I'm looking forward to the finals.
If it keeps going like this, you're going to win here today.
Yeah, of course. We're in France, and I have so great support, so that's what we go for.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Timmy Hansen couldn't be happier, could he? And other than a Frenchman, I think they'd love to see a French manufacturer winning here in France. Here's the standings after Heat 3. Timmy Hansen with a perfect 150 points. Solberg is second, Tiedemann, Nitish, Markland, Timosyanov. Grosset Janin is the top Frenchman. Gaetan Serrazan right behind him. Ken Block was 13th last night. He pops up to 9th. Andy Scott. Topi Heikkinen is in second place in the championship. And Fabien Paye, another Frenchman, in the 12th place. Bakkerud is just outside the top 12. Is he going to make it to the semis?
The battle to the first corner on every RX track is critical, and in the supercar final, it's a battle that just has to be won. For those who get there first, the Monster Energy Supercharger Award is given. Over the last 7 rounds, there have been 5 different Supercharger Award winners, with Petter Solberg the only driver to win the award multiple times this season, with 3 of the green rhinos on his mantelpiece. So far in 2014, 4 of the Superchargers have gone on to win the final, with Petter taking half of those wins.
So to go through the start procedure in one of these 600 horsepower Rallycross supercars, it starts by clutch down, engaging first gear. Once you're in gear, then pull the handbrake and just lift the clutch a little bit to engage the transmission, to take any slack out of the transmission so you're ready. You hold the handbrake on. On the steering wheel, you have a launch control button. You hold the button down and then you go full throttle. So basically it looks like clutch down in first gear, handbrake up, button on, full throttle, and then just let go of everything when the lights go, apart from the throttle. Stay full throttle, otherwise you don't go anywhere. So here we are on the start line, waiting for the lights to go green. Sitting here 5 cars wide, holding the car on launch and drop the clutch and hope for the best start you can, the most traction you can possibly get. Probably reaching 70, 80 mile an hour by the first corner, hoping by this point you're in the lead and you're going to turn in first. So here we are in the first corner, where if you cross this point first in the final, you win the Monster Energy Supercharger Award. And statistics show so far this year, if you cross this point first, you're more than likely going to win the race.
A good start isn't just a case of putting pedal to the metal and hanging on. It's an art form that needs to be mastered, and for those who do master it, victory could be in their sights from the very off.
I'm Kenneth Hansen, team principal of Peugeot Hansen. I want to show you the VRX 208. Please come. Here we have the 208 power unit. It's a 2-liter turbocharged engine. Very special, built for Rallycross. We have a big intercooler as we see here. One important thing for Rallycross is air filter, because you know it's quite some dust sometime, and if the driver is not in front, you need to protect the engine with a good air filter. Some differences in the Rallycross cars is that some teams use longitude engines, we use a transverse. That means that we have a different distribution. We have a turbocharger just behind the engine here, we can see. And all the small wiring and so is with the Magneti Marelli electronic unit. Here we are inside the Peugeot 208. This is Timmy's office. What we can see is that we have a button place here where the drivers can manage the engine and start and everything. We have a gear lever, we have a handbrake, we have a dashboard and a dashboard for the gearing. This is information that the drivers can get. When we have the different drivers, Teamer and Timmy, it's some different setup. It means that 5 mm on the gear lever closer to the driver, or perhaps the seat 3 mm lower in the front end, and so it's very crucial so they get the right working feeling. Here we see some of the suspension on the Peugeot 208. It's obviously very important to get the handling of the car very right so it suits the driver. So that can be adjusted a little different. So each driver have his own feeling. But one very important thing is tires. You know, a car have only 4 spots on the ground, and that is the tire. We are limited on tires. We have 6 of the old previous event on tire for practice, and when the event starts with the first heat, then we have 8 new tires. And those 8 should last all the race. That means that we need as a team to advise the driver to use the tires correctly, to have the tires on the right time, the best performance, and to last to the end.
Heat 4 was a final chance for those who'd had problems in Heat 3 to redeem themselves. Herv Napik had ended Heat 3 in the gravel trap with a broken car and took an easy heat race win in the first race of Heat 4. Ollie O'Donovan managed to get the jump on Edward Sandstrom. Sandstrom, who'd had 2-wheel drive only in Heat 3, took a win once he'd got 4-wheel drive in Heat 4. Jos Janssen got another fantastic start to lead his race. Unfortunately, again, he couldn't hold on. He was just pipped by Christophe Baroujon.
Race 4, Heat 4, and the action is starting to hot up. Koen Pauwels on the inside, Simone Romagna alongside him, Rodolphe Adorn, David Binks and Derek Tohill. There is the Italian driver, Romagna, in Peter Solberg's second car. The grid's clear, so it won't be long before we send them on their way. Romagna with impressive car control this weekend. Maybe been a bit ragged at times. Let's see how he is off the start. We'll see him pull the handbrake from up here in the commentary position. He's on your right there. A little judder just before he got away, but he's got it hooked up nicely. Pauwels, though, on the inside has got a good start too. All the way round the outside. Derek Tohill, great job. David Binks sideways in the Albertech 208. Ends up in the gravel trap, unfortunately back to 5th, but Tohill with a great move.
Yeah, perfect start from the outside, and he was very brave into the first corner. He had a good line and just kept the speed through the corner, and now he has a good hit.
Romagna pushing Pauwels all the way out of the corner down at turn 3 there. Both those guys lost time, and Tohill's now got a little gap on them. So Romagna's going to be keen to get by. From the looks of things, he's all over the back of Koen Pauwels.
Yeah, he seems like he's faster, so we need to get by him quick.
He commits hard to the brake, doesn't he? Do you see then? Almost a similar style to Solberg. He's almost got the car set up the way Solberg used to have the car set up.
Yeah, I think he has driving like the same setup as Solberg and just trying to adapt to the car. And it's really soft.
Really sideways as well out of turn 2. The whole of his front left wheel arch is missing. Romagna, it seems that the tyre is just about on the rim, goes into the Joker lap. That's unfortunate. He's gone to the Joker lap with Pauwels, so he may listen to his spotter. Eric, if your spotter says go to the Joker and the person you're stuck behind goes there, what do? I mean, oh, those guys slot back in. Pauwels slots in. Romagna's been dumped right to the back of the pack. That is an absolute disaster because everybody there has Jokered. So Romagna there, that was a problem for him. So yeah, if they'd send you to the Joker and you don't think it's appropriate, what do you do?
Yeah, then you can take your own decision. And sometimes I had my spotter, he told me that if the car in front of you goes to the Joker, you don't go.
So they'll give you that option?
So they give you a longer option to do.
Tohill in the Joker now. He's gone before the final lap, and I think that's so he can protect himself if the other cars are quicker. But I don't think they are. Good job by Tohill. So he's just got 1 lap to go now. Around the left and then the right, off what is the dirt section and onto the tar. That's Tohill's team on the spotters tower. They've got a good view over the whole circuit. They're not quite as high up as we are here, but they can see enough of the action. They have the TV feed and the timing screens over there as well, so they can use all those things to judge when to go, Eric.
Yeah, it's perfect for a spotter to have all this information. Yeah, just give the right decision for the driver.
Last year, really, the spotters were all just stood on top of trucks, weren't they, desperately trying to see the track, and this year they get all the information in front of them.
Yeah, it's perfect. Last year, as I say, everybody had their own place, just trying to get the best place, but now they're all together.
On the Ion Spotters Tower, which the camera is on right now, as you see Derek Tohill round the final corner, take the checkered flag. Powles is behind him. Binks comes in 4th. David Binks didn't get much of a mention there, apart from that problem at the start, but he's done a decent job this weekend. We saw him, he was a bit disappointed with his pace, but he's happy to bring the car home in one piece. That was what he wanted from this last race. Derek Tohill, Gordon Powles, Rodolphe Audran, David Binks in 4th and Romagna in 5th. Tohill slots into 2nd place, not a bad time. Neil is down on the spotters tower with Derek Tohill spotters.
The car looked really good around the circuit. How's the time?
Looks like he's 2nd overall so far. It's the best feeling he's had with the car since he started driving it at the start of the season. LD Motorsport have done a great bit of work over the last week since he came back from Canada, changed the gearbox and a few other little bits and pieces, and he's really, really happy with the car. It's the best feeling so far this year, so hopefully it's looking good for the rest of the season if we can get a good few more results and keep at it and see how we get on. There he is, 2nd overall so far, so can't ask for better than that.
Thank you.
Cheers.
You can see the timing screen in the background there they use. There is Derek rolling back towards the paddock area. Here's the replays. Great start.
Yeah, and we spoke about it earlier. When you're on the outside, you have the normal line in the first corner. So if you dare to just try to keep the speed and you trust the people on the inside, not diving into the side of you, then you have the perfect first line, first corner.
Lining up, ready for the next race already. Heat 4, race 5. Henning Solberg, Jonathan Paye, Christopher Wilt, Alexander Tulle and Marc Laboule. There's Henning's wife up in the spotters tower. Anti-lags on, time to get going. Oh, pretty even start away, but it looks like Henning's got the jump down to turn 1. Great job, so Henning Solberg into turn 1 around the outside. Marc Laboule has come all the way around the outside. He's inside Henning Solberg into turn 2. Solberg is sideways, Laboule is right behind him, but Solberg's got it on the way down to the end of the straight. Is anybody going to try and outbrake each other? Contact in the background, Laboule gets shunted out wide, tyre smoke everywhere. Is that from the back of Henning's car, just spinning wheels?
Yeah, they were quite aggressive. He had a good start, Henning, and he was first into the first corner, but they were aggressive behind him, so he had some pushes from behind, I think. But he managed to hold it.
Henning using a little bit of the curb. Comes around the right-hander. Behind him, Wilt with the window hanging out. I'm sure that was happening to Wilt yesterday as well. Smoke pouring from Henning's car again. Is it just the driving style, or you think there's something rubbing there? We do see it a bit from him and Petter.
Yeah, it seems like something is rubbing through the tire, to the tire here. But if it's just plastic, then it should be no problem.
So hopefully the plastic will break before the tyre does. Wilt goes to the Joker lap, feels he's being held up, but runs a little bit wide, went a little bit quick into the Joker and ran a little bit wide, sideways for Laboule. Manages to hold on to it in the background. Henning Solberg still leading, and Wilt runs wide. There is right, that's Henning Solberg's other half. She's got one hand up on the headset, which means she's sending him some sort of a message. Is she going to say Joker, Joker? We'll know when he comes down to the end of this straight. So around the long right-hander, she's probably seen those problems in the background. Everyone having little issues, running wide. Let's see what Henning does. Does he use the handbrake and turn the nose in, or is he going to do another lap? He goes for another lap. So Henning stays out. Maybe that was what his wife was saying on the radio. The long right-hander. Henning leading, just with the Joker to go. 1.2 seconds on Laboule, who also has to Joker. Have they got enough over Paye, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's about 2 seconds, and they have almost 3 seconds down to Paye, so I think they should be okay.
And what about Laboule? Do you think he'll drop?
Yeah, it will be tight for
Henning!
second place.
Henning slowed down. We're looking at his wife right now, but Henning slowed down as we're looking at his wife. There's smoke pouring from the back of the car. There's smoke pouring from the back of the car. Ah, it's a disaster. It's a disaster. gutted for Henning. He was leading that one. We saw smoke from the car. Maybe it wasn't tyre smoke. I mean, maybe it was something else.
Yeah, maybe.
Either way, back to the race. It's Paillet who leads at the end of this one. Wilt inside La Boule. I think that is a change for position, or maybe they came out the Joker. Either way, Paillet takes it. Wilt was second, La Boule was third. Oh, what a shame for Henning Solberg. There we go. There are marshals running towards Henning's car in the centre of the track. Boo, says his wife, and rightly so. Still got a sense of humour, though. Thumbs down. I don't know if we're going to get an interview there or not. We'll see. Massive crowd here at Loheac. Look at that. Jonathan Paillet with the win by about a second from Wilt, who just pipped La Boule. And Thiel, Frenchman, 1-4. Henning Solberg with a DNF. And Paillet slots in second place. So a decent result for him. Not such a decent result, unfortunately, for Henning Solberg. Neil Cole is down there now with Henning's wife.
Boyman, he was doing so well. Do you know what happened to the car?
I don't know what's happening, but it doesn't look very good. And this was the last chance to reach a semi today. So the game is over for Henning today. Sorry.
It looked like there was contact early on. Maybe that did some damage.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But it doesn't look very good. So something with the engine, it looks like.
Thank you. Bad luck.
Well, Henning all smiles despite that. You could see out of the car, having a bit of a laugh with one of the photographers. It was a good start.
Yeah, it was a good start. Then they pushed him a bit from behind, as she said. So, but it looks like it was engine or turbo failure or something. It was just a lot of smoke, and he slowed down.
Slowed down a lot. It was unfortunately, whilst we were having a look, I was guessing it was that point his wife would have been reminding him, take the Joker. We saw Ken, of course, miss it, and there it was. It was out of turn one, I think, into turn two.
Yeah.
It let go. Looked like it pulled another gear. The smoke stops just for a second, but game over. And Jonathan Paillet, from the famous Paillet Rallycross family, takes that heat race win. Henning being towed back to the paddock. And they're rolling the cars up. You can see the pre-grid there, the area behind where the drivers do a warm-up. Timosyanov has just run too long on his warm-up, and the man holding the pole to put him in place, you can see Timosyanov reversing back into place. So he locked his wheels up. The bloke ran for it. Stood in front of him. The poles are there just to make sure that they don't jump the start. Here's the lineup. Andy Scott, Timosyanov, Gaetan Sarrazin, Jérôme Grosset-Janin, and Fabien Paillet. 3 Frenchmen, again, a Russian and an Englishman. It's a long hold on the line. Sarrazin with a great getaway in the middle of the grid. Also, Jérôme Grosset-Janin on the outside. Contact with Timosyanov. Andy Scott goes down to third at turn 1, runs wide up the inside. I think that's another one of the Paillet who's just gone up the inside through the dirt. Hard to see what's going on. Timosyanov in the lead. Paillet sideways. Jérôme Grosset-Janin all the way down the straight. How's he held on to that? And he's broken. The rear of Paillet's car is broken.
He had some contact with Andy in the second corner, and the rear suspension broke.
He did very well to hold on to that.
Timosyanov was very aggressive in the first corner. He was on the outside of Andy, but he still just pushed him on the inside, and Andy had to give up place.
Having to give best to a double European champion and the current champion isn't too bad, is it really? Jérôme Grosset-Janin, the top Frenchman overnight, I think, is behind Timosyanov. Grosset-Janin last year did a 3rd and a 5th fastest, but he had problems in heat 1 and 2, so we didn't get to see his speed. And we've seen he's very fast this year, Eric. Grosset-Janin in some of the European events he's done.
Yeah, he's been very fast, and I think especially here he can be really fast. He knows the track very well. He's done many years in the French Championship here. So yeah, and we can see he's just following Timmer without problem. So it's really quick.
Timosyanov using a lot of curb. Grosset-Janin not quite so much. Timosyanov runs a little bit wide. Looked like he used a handbrake in the middle of the corner there to get the car turned in. That's the view from the spotters tower you were just seeing. Andy Scott down in 4th. It's been a good weekend for Scott so far. Hopefully he might be on to make it through to the semi-finals. Be good if he can. There he is, sliding onto the straight. You can see the dust in the air, although there isn't much gravel down there. It's dry and hot here today. Dust up in the air, so visibility issues for the guys further down the field, but not for Timosyanov, who's out front. There is Paillet leaving his car stricken. Fabien Paillet, 2 brothers competing here this weekend. Timosyanov into the last corner. Again, just struggling to get it into the curbs, it seems, Eric.
Yeah, it seems like he's struggling a little bit more than Timmy Hansen with the Peugeot today. maybe that's just, you know, I know they're trying to get the car perfect for Timur also. But yeah, and he had some problem, as you say, with his hand. Fell down and
cut it.
Yeah, so
he was
maybe
joking.
it's a bit. Yeah.
They were saying that he might lose the arm later on today. He would have to go to hospital for an operation. But what was it he said in Russia? I think he said we'd pour some vodka on it and just close the wound up. So he's
just go. Yeah. Just go and drive. It's no big problem.
He had a massive bandage on his hand yesterday, but Timosyanov doing a great job today. He's leading this one. Grosjean in behind him. Sarazan behind that, and Andy Scott still hanging on to the back of this train. So great drive from all four of these guys. Sarazan and Payet are yet to joker. So I think Timosyanov is going to take this one easy. What he needs is a fast heat time. The settings, is it different for Hansen and Timosyanov?
Yeah, I think, you know, the base setup is almost the same, but of course they have their own little things they want to have with the car. But their driving styles is quite the same, so I think the cars is... But of course, then they need to feel comfortable, and they have their own little things to do with the setup.
Timosyanov takes the win. Good job for the Russian driver. Fabian Payet, a retirement from that one. You can see at the top of your screen he didn't take the joker lap because he never made it round to it. Here's a look at the start. Timosyanov and Scott there.
Yeah, Timur has had some traffic in the earlier heat, so I think it was, yeah, he wanted to really get the start. That's why he was so aggressive to Andy in the first corner.
Timosyanov out in front there of Grosjean. Grosjean was flying on a couple of events earlier this year. I think he had an engine failure at one of them, which didn't do him any favours. Still doing okay in the European Championship, not the European round, of course, this weekend. We pick that up again next weekend in Germany and then in Italy to decide the European title for supercars. These guys up against the World Championship drivers as well. Neil Cole is down with Kenneth Hansen on the Ion Spotters Tower.
Great performance there by Timmer. I think he's fastest so far. He's doing extremely well today.
Yeah, it's really going well. We have struggled a little to find the exact right balance for Timur, but I think now the last heat he was very happy and he performed from the start to the end, so we will have a good position in the semi-final now.
Here's the result of Heat 4, Race 6. Timosyanov from Grosjean, Sarazan, Andy Scott and Fabian Payet with a DNF.
David, obviously a lot of a good achievement from the team, but you must be a little bit disappointed that you haven't made it through to the semi.
Yeah, you know, the team has done a fantastic job this weekend. Andy's made the semi-finals. I'll be honest, I hoped I could. It's been literally 2 years since I've actually driven a competition car in any form. We tested last week in Mayenne. I did about 25 laps. And, you know, I've been learning the car. I've never driven the circuit. So in some respects, I'm happy. In some respects, I'm pretty disappointed. I would like to have gotten some more points, but hopefully in the future we can.
Give us an idea how big an achievement it is in this field to make it through to the semis.
Yeah, obviously this World Championship has such a high level to start with, and then when you come here to Loheac in France, the French drivers are really specialists on this circuit, so to come into the semi-final is a really massive achievement. So, you know, there's no other way to describe it, but it's a fantastic result for the team.
And it looks like you're going to be in a pretty tasty semi-final as well with some of the names you're alongside.
Yeah, it's all to play for. Obviously, I'm starting on the back row of the grid, but you know, if I can get out of the gate, and you never know what could happen in the first 2 or 3 corners. So I'm not writing off a chance of a final. It would be my first final, but I've made 5 semis out of 6 races this year, so we're consistent. We just need that last bit to take the final.
Now, when we came to find you, you were spending some time choosing your tyres. How much have these tyres been wearing, and what have you got left?
Yeah, obviously the regulations are we have 8 tyres for the weekend. This circuit is particularly abrasive, so what we're left with at the moment is we've got 8 tyres to choose our best from. So, you know, I've used all my tyres to get to the semi, whereas perhaps some of the quicker guys have managed to get there with still a new set left. But so, you know, I have to run with the best of the 8.
Henning, the speed was really good this weekend, so you must be disappointed with what happened. Talk us through it.
Yeah, but this is how rallycross is. Everything can happen, and this weekend we have some issues with 2 turbos, and yeah, that was the main thing. So I catch one car last day with steering, so that was another problem.
Can you tell us exactly what went wrong? Because it looked like there was contact, but that was unrelated to the problem, the retirement.
No, it was contact because in the start I did not have any brakes. So I was braking. I have to push the pedal before the first corner a lot because something wrong on, I think it was the wheel bearing or something. So after that I tried to keep the position. So it was not easy, but then in the last lap I broke the turbo.
Heat 4, race 7. Davy Genet, Topi Heikkinen, Pontus Tiedemann, Reinis Nitish and Anton Markland. Both the VW Markland cars in this one. Nitish, having a dominant weekend like he did here last year in Super 1600. He won all the heats, he won the semis, he won the final. He told me on Thursday that's what he wanted to do again. On board with Markland, bashes the steering wheel, gets himself fired up, bang, handbrake on, in gear, he's good to go. Green flag. Lights out and away. That was a rocket of a start from Genet on the inside. Was that a jump start? Surely he's guessed the lights. Either way, Genet is first into turn one. He's got Heikkinen and Markland alongside him in the background. Those two don't need to come into contact with each other. It's Heikkinen who gets the jump on Markland. So it's Davy Genet, the Frenchman for Monster Energy World RX, leads down into turn 3 on board with Nitish at the back. Nitish goes to the Joker, and that's Markland that's gone in front of him.
Yeah, very good start. A very clean start from everybody. You know, they want to get to the finish, but perfect start for Genet. Maybe a bit of gambling on the lights.
I think so, yeah. So Genet leading after one lap. Heikkinen, Tiedemann, Markland and Nitish. And Markland and Nitish are up to the back of those guys already, despite having taken the Joker. Could be a wise decision, Eric?
Yeah, normally the first lap is the slowest. So if you have a good Joker on the first lap, and yeah, you can just slot in right behind them and be in a good position.
So that's what Markland has done. None of the guys have elected to go to the Joker this time. They're waiting to see what Genet can do. This is a stronger weekend for Monster Energy. We've just seen that problem, of course, for Henning Solberg. The fans are literally, you can hear them as the cameras move around the circuit and you pick up the different microphones. You can hear the crowd cheering Genet on. They'd carry him to victory if they could. He's only got 2 more laps to go. Davy Genet been at Monster Energy World RX for about, I think, last few races. He was in, of course, at Albertech earlier on this season. He was the one driver I was really disappointed not to see signed up at the start of the year because he did so well last year, Eric.
Yeah, he was second in the championship last year and he should have been for a full season. But now he's back and he's done a lot of events and hopefully he's definitely a man for the win here in some races.
Super sideways from Tiedemann in the background there. Tiedemann was really sideways. Markland has got in front of Heikkinen. Both those guys are jokered, so that was a good job by Markland. Oh, Markland running a little bit wide, can't hook it up. Heikkinen's alongside him. Heikkinen's going to have a look. We're on board with Nitish. Absolutely grandstand seats for the fight in front of you between the two VW Markland drivers. Brilliant, brilliant position to be in. Not for Nitish, of course. He'd rather be further up the field. Those three have all jokered out in front. Genet and Tiedemann have not. Both of them are gone. Both of them are gone. So this is it now then for it. So Genet through the chicane, Tiedemann behind him. Tiedemann pops it up over the curbs. Genet comes out in front. The French crowd are going to love that. He's got 2 turns to go. Tiedemann comes through to second place. So Genet with just 1 corner to go. He rounds the last right-hander. You look at the train of cars coming in. We're looking at Genet going out. Oh, he couldn't be closer behind. Genet takes the win. And then it was Tiedemann, Markland, Heikkinen so close behind them. Nitish as well. Very, very fast heat from those. Fantastic entertainment for the crowd, and of course the best possible result with a French win. They love it.
Yeah, they love it. And I think Tiedemann must have done a really good Joker lap on the last lap to get back in second.
Genet takes the win from Pontus Tiedemann, Anton Markland, Topi Heikkinen and Reinis Nitish. Let's see where they slot in. Genet goes fastest, so Genet to the top of the leaderboard with a 2:34. Tiedemann slots in 5th, Markland, Heikkinen, Nitish 6th, 7th, 8th. So that was a very quick heat indeed. Great job by the French driver. What a result. Here's the replays, Eric. Away from the start, surely jumped the lights there. Well, not jumped, guessed them correctly.
Yeah, I guessed them correctly. It's a bit of gambling, and it's a bit down the standing, so I guess now he was inside and he needed to get the start and have a really good time. Which he got, so
And the jokers
gambling went well.
Yeah, and the jokers at the end, you said Tiedemann, you think was absolutely rapid in this joker lap.
Yeah, he was a bit behind, but then it just came out in second again, so.
There was Genet taking the flag, watching the background, a train of cars chucking it sideways over the line, desperate to see if they could make up the necessary feet to take the next position up. Absolutely rammed here now at Loheac. It's pretty much a full house. The clouds are burning off. It is a beautiful sunny day in northern France as we approach the end of Heat 4, race number 8. There's some star drives in here that all the fans are really looking forward to seeing. One Frenchman, but alongside him, Timmy Hansen, the winner of all 3 heats so far, an incredible performance. Andreas Bakkerud in second place, Petter Solberg in third. American superstar, the Hoonigan himself, is in fourth on the grid. And Jean-Baptiste Dubourg, a strong French Championship driver, up into this heat. So there is some local interest, but they'll be as pleased if Hansen wins it, because Hansen, of course, being a Peugeot driver, is doing an absolutely brilliant job here. Can he bring them the dream result at home? They're ready to go already, on board with Ken Block, holding onto that unique handbrake. So a very even start. Looked like a great start there for Bakkerud into turn 1. Timmy's on the inside, contact for Timmy Hansen. Bakkerud, I think, is going to take the lead. Ken Block has gone to the back of the pack. It's Bakkerud. Timmy Hansen is in second. Solberg's alongside him down the straight. Hansen's got the inside on Solberg. Solberg into the back of Hansen. Petter Solberg takes the joker, handbrakes and takes the joker. Dubourg goes with him, and Ken Block follows the rest up there. Wow, that was hectic.
Yeah, I think Timmy was a bit careful. Not a perfect start. Bakkerud had a bit better start, and Timmy was a bit careful. You know, he needs to get to the finish because he has 3 best times. So.
Ken Block with the bonnet completely crumpled on the front of the car. Looks like he's had a bit of contact as well. Petter Solberg looking up the inside of Ken Block. You're on board with Ken Block, and Solberg was up the inside of him as you were riding with him. I think he's dropped back behind him now. He has the 2 sideways specialists onto that straight down towards turn 3. We're looking at the front at Hansen. Hansen surely is going to take the joker. He's got to get out from behind Bakkerud. No, he decides to go with him. So he knows that even a second place to Bakkerud will be enough. With 3 heat wins, Timmy Hansen is surely going to sit at the top of the qualifying standings.
Yeah, of course. If he just follows Bakkerud and get to the finish, he will still be first after all heats. So that's a great move, just a smart move.
And Bakkerud knows he needs a great result here. The young Norwegian driver has had a really shocking time recently. He's just had dreadful results, problems with the car. It just hasn't gone his way from leading the championship earlier in the season. That win back in the UK just hasn't seemed to have found that streak of form. Yesterday, a jump start, a stall, another stall. But Bakkerud is flying in this one. Who's gone to the joker lap? It's the Timmy Hansen has gone to the joker. Timmy braking slightly too early, sets the car up through the chicane. Oh, Ken Block's around the outside of him. Ken Block hasn't, joker. Petter has. Timmy's in front of both of them. Great job by Hansen.
Timmy had the best lap time of the heat in the lap before, so he's not very careful in the driving. He's still pushing very hard. So yeah, maybe he can catch Bakkerud and have the perfect heats with 4 wins.
So Bakkerud then has to joker this time out. He's going to need to be very quick. Is Timmy Hansen going to take a clean sheet? I'm not sure anyone has managed to take a clean sheet so far this year. They haven't. Nobody has won all 4 heats at any event so far this year. A very quick luck up, but the stats tells me that. Hansen's coming around the outside. Bakkerud's on the inside. Bakkerud's got it though. Bakkerud is in front of Hansen, so Hansen's not going to take all 4 heats. I'm sure he's going to qualify first though. Ken Block with the bonnet up, but we're looking at oh, Block runs wide. Block almost in the wall. Bakkerud though is going to take the win. Hansen in second. Petter Solberg third. Dubourg manages to pull fourth, and Ken Block in 5th. 2:34.8 for Bakkerud, so it was a quick run. Bakkerud is going to go top of Heat 4. Hansen's going to slot in 3rd, we think. So Hansen almost certain to be top qualifier. I'm certain he is. So it's 3. Yeah, he is. Yeah. Here's the result. Bakkerud 2:34.8. Hansen, Petter Solberg, Jean-Baptiste Dubourg and Ken Block. See where they slot into. Bakkerud fastest, Hansen into 4th. My mistake, Hansen into 4th, but that should be enough to see him at the top after the 4 heats. Before we have a look at that, let's go down to Neil Colt, who is with Jussi Pinamaki.
Jussi, well, that has to be the perfect time to really show your best form.
Yeah, I mean, we really struggled yesterday with the starts, and I felt Andreas was ready already yesterday, but the problems in the launch really didn't give us the chance to show our pace. Worked hard last night to sort the problems out, and now he's back in business. So we knew yesterday that we have the speed. Really couldn't follow the plan we had before the race with everything, but now we just have to fight with the tools we have, and hopefully it will take us far.
And of course, he's the first driver this weekend to break Timmy's 100% record.
Yeah, I mean, Timmy has been fast. Yeah, it's a game. It's a game which everyone is playing on their own way, and we don't know exactly what they are doing. Andreas took a perfect start now. He beat him in the launch, but also after that he was slightly quicker. So it gives confidence for the semis and for the final, hopefully.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, they're hoping that Baccarat has done enough to make the semis. We'll find out in just a few moments. Here was that start. Baccarat away from the line. Four-way contact, Eric, across the whole width of the track.
Yeah, they were very equal. And Timmy was in it. Oh, yeah, that's a big hit from Ken Block.
Misjudged his brakes at the end of the straight, you think?
Yeah, probably.
Timmy Hansen in the Joker lap, pushing the 2.8. It looked like he got it turned in just slightly too early and he had to correct himself, but
yeah,
maybe not enough. I think Baccarat was really on a mission on this one. Baccarat, of course, the winner here last year. That was where Hansen rejoined, just in front of the other drivers. Ken Block doing a good job with bits hanging off the car, but it was Baccarat who took it from Hansen. Great final heat race. Here is how they stand then after the 4 heats of qualifying. Timmy Hansen is top qualifier, winning 3 out of 4. Petter Solberg is second. Tiedemann, Nitish, Timosyanov, Grosset, Janin, Markland. Baccarat does make it in. So does Heikkinen. All of the championship fighters are in there. Ken Block, Serrazan and Andy Scott makes it through 2. Great job by the Scotsman. There's how they split. Odds to semi-final 1, evens to semi-final 2. So it is Hansen and Solberg on the 2 pole positions. Going to be a fantastic afternoon of racing. Now seems like a good time to go and have a look down at the Team Peugeot Hansen garage. Guys working hard on the cars down there. Eric, they're having a fantastic weekend. What's the difference? It's taken them a while to get up onto the pace, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's taken a while, but I think they're right where they should be now. They had some testing before this event. The project was quite late. They had a quite late start, but they seem to have catched up with the other factory teams now, and they're having a really good weekend here.
Sitting on board here with Timmy Hansen. Timmy absolutely flying, you know, he's winning heats left, right and centre.
Yeah, I think the track suits him here, and he seems very comfortable with the car. Yeah, and it's more like a circuit racing track where he comes from. So yeah, he's having a perfect weekend so far.
Well, Neil Cole is in the garage now, and he's got Timmy Hansen with him.
Timmy, you've done everything you can to give yourself the best possible chance in the semi-final. So what's the plan now?
Yeah, we have had a really great start to the event, and I'm so happy to put Peugeot, Total and Red Bull in this position. But now is when the race starts, and this is what we are focused on. We have some great tires left, so now my mind is set to do a great start in the semi-final. Hopefully I can be first and I can do my own race through the semi-final, and then it's up to the final to put that little bit extra.
Now, obviously you're going to be in the semi-final with your teammate. Are there any kind of team orders that you don't sort of race against each other?
I think that I'm on pole and he's on third, so hopefully we do equally good starts and he can follow me through the first corner. But you know, it's rallycross and this is one scenario out of a million, so we'll just have to wait and see.
Thank you.
Well, fingers crossed Timmy Hansen can get away from the line quickly. He's been able to get away from the line all weekend, Eric, so far. Well, Neil has managed to find Susan Hansen down in the Peugeot Hansen garage.
Susan, there's a lot of fans here loving the achievements of the Peugeot this weekend. What's the whole experience been like, and are you ready for the semi-final?
Yeah, first of all, the experience has been amazing here in Loheac. The crowds are outstanding. I don't think you can see fans like this anywhere in the world of rallycross. France is exceptional. And considering the semi-finals, yes, we are prepared. We've done 4 good qualifying heats. We have Timmy Hansen on pole and we have Timothy Mitziana on the 5th place overall, which means the same semi-final as Timmy. So that will be one interesting show, I promise you.
is a long time in motorsport, but Petter Solberg has only just stopped celebrating after his stunning victory in Canada last time out. Trois-Rivières, Quebec was the location for Solberg's second win of the season, which has given him a 20-point lead at the top of the drivers' table as we head into the business end of the season.
It feels great, you know, but that's forgotten now. Now we're just looking forward to now in France and keep on pushing, basically. And yeah, 2 wins is great, but I'm after the end of the year championship, so we have to really be smart how we do every race, basically. But in Canada, everything was there to win, and now we just have to try to do the same strategy.
Behind Solberg is Topi Heikkinen, who moves up a spot, followed by Reinis Nitish, Andreas Backerud and Anton Markland. These 4 drivers represent the top 2 outfits in the team standings, and remarkably, after 7 rounds of hard fighting, they are both on equal points. The Ford OMSE team had a 59-point lead at the end of round 5 in Sweden. Over the last 2 events, that lead has been obliterated by Markland Motorsport. While the Osberg drivers Backerud and Nitish bagged 2 back-to-back victories respectively for the team in UK and Norway, they have since seen a slump in form over the last 2 rounds, with neither driver making the final in Belgium or in Canada. In contrast, the Markland Motorsport drivers Heikkinen and Markland have been flying high. Topi got the team their first RX victory in Belgium, while Anton Markland has produced consistent performances, which included a personal best 2nd place in Canada. This all means a perfect equilibrium has been achieved, and both teams are parked on 246 points.
Little bad luck. So I mean the scoring system is like that. If you get a bad week and you lose a lot of points, but it's no big drama.
We just need to move on from here and learn from the past and keep on going.
I mean, our 2 drivers is performing very well. They do good results in every race and come to the finish line in all 4 heats. That's also very important. And the points you score during the first part of the race is very important.
We're having a long season, and on every heat you can have some points. So you need to be really consistent.
I think that what we have done all season is we have been really consistent. We have been not maybe been the fastest man every race, but we have always been in the top.
I'm fighting for the drivers' championship, but at the same time I'm fighting for the Ford. I want to put Ford some in the stars, maybe. You know, the Osberg's MSC team. It's something big. It's my team.
Winning the championship for the team would be the best thing that could happen for the future.
The championship has moved back to Europe for the next 3 rounds. Loheac in France is this week's venue, and with a 70,000 partisan crowd, both the racing and the atmosphere will be electric. Here's the track preview presented by Ion Cameras. Away from the line, it's a short blast down to a tight turn 1, then onto the gravel through turn 2. A big bump on the brakes as you go into turn 3, where the track splits into the Joker lap. The Joker has a jump and a chicane. The standard lap comes very fast around the outside, and they merge before a left and a right and back to the finish.
So here we are in the second corner of the Loheac track, and as you can see, it's a very fast corner with gravel. It's here I may have a spotter call for the Joker lap, and I have to prepare my Joker lap here with a lot of action and a strong fight with other drivers. So here we are in the Joker entrance corner, and if I have to go in the Joker, I have to prepare myself differently than if I go to the normal track. I must be a little bit more slow and to keep the interior line for the jump. If I go to the normal track, I have to go here the quickest to get the maximum of speed in the straight to have the fastest time.
Here's the surface split. The yellow is gravel and the grey is tar.
So here they meet, the Joker and the regular track. It will be intensive battles here. One car coming in 5th gear in a long sweeping right-hander. The other one exiting a chicane here and wants to come in front of the other car. Here they will be close, and the one in front for sure will win the race just 2 corners later. So watch out here.
Here's the story of the action so far here in Loheac. Heat 1 yesterday, Ken Block is back and he was flying. Unfortunately, he missed the Joker lap. 30-second penalty saw him drop right down the order. No such problem for Timmy Hansen. He won both heats yesterday, Heat 1 and Heat 2, looking dominant. Heat 3 this morning, Hansen on the inside, Block alongside him, very fast all weekend. But Hansen made it look quite easy. The others didn't have the pace to match him. 3 out of 3 so far. Ken Block and Solberg with a mega battle over the finish line. Final heat though, and it was Bakkerud who got away from the line and managed to beat Timmy Hansen for the first time all weekend into turn 1, 4 abreast. It was Bakkerud who came out in front and went on to win the heat. This was how they qualified after those 4 heats. Timmy Hansen on top, Petter Solberg, Tiedemann, Nitish, Timosyanov, Grosse-Janin, Markland, Bakkerud made it back in, Heikkinen in as well, Blocks there, Sarazan and Andy Scott just making the cut. Genet and Sandstrom are just outside. Here's how they split into the semis. The odds go into semi-final 1 and the evens into semi-final 2. Timmy Hansen on pole in the first and Petter Solberg on pole in the second. Brilliant crowd here at Loheac. They're going to get to see what you're going to get to see as well. First of all, we've got the live Supercar semi-finals, then a live Super 1600 final, and finally the Supercar final live. Who's going to win round 8 of the World Rallycross Championship? Super hot afternoon here in France. Really looking forward to the action. My name is Andrew Coley. Alongside me is Eric Fahren. Semi-finals are coming up. In the meantime, Neil Cole has been down on the grid and he's been catching up with some of the drivers to find out what they think ahead of the battle.
Yeah, I am, as much as I can. Still nervous after so many years driving, and it's just crazy, but okay, we increased the lead of the World Championship after the 4 heats, and that's a good thing.
Well, we didn't seem to have any audio on Petter there. Sorry about that. Never mind. We'll move swiftly on and look forward to seeing him in action instead. Umbrellas up in the crowd. But it's because of the sunshine, not because of the rain. Eric, we saw some Peugeot flags in the crowd there. It's been a strong weekend for them, hasn't it?
Yeah, Timmy has had an almost perfect weekend. 3 heat wins and 1 4th place, and he's first overall so far. So it's perfect result for him. So let's see if he can hold that on for the semi-final and the final.
It's going to be crucial, isn't it, to get away from the line well. Obviously, it's not so hard now. They're not 5 abreast, so it's not 5 bundling into the first corner, but we've got 3 rows of 2, and Timmy Hansen is going to be on the front row of the first of those semi-finals, so you need to make sure that he gets into turn 1 first. Monster Energy girls are down on the grid. Eric, what's the traction like further up the grid? Is there as much grip further forward?
I don't think that's a big difference, actually. But normally where I've started during the day, during the heats, should be a bit more grip. But I think everybody just puts a little bit more RPM than you're not gambling so much because everybody wants to get off the line. So you can just put some RPM more.
So not worry,
not to stall the engine.
Yeah, maybe more wheel spin rather than a slow start. Okay, Neil Cole is down, I think, on the Ion Spotters tower.
Kenneth, you have Timmy and Timo on this semi-final. How are you feeling right now?
Very nervous, I must say. I'm confident, but very nervous, of course. Everything can happen in rallycross, and it's a short thing, and we are out. But we cross our fingers so they can go well, and we can play the card with the joker right.
Thank you. They're about to start.
They're on the grid already. Here is how they line up. It's an all-Swedish front row. Timmy Hansen and Pontus Tiedemann. Up next to Timo Timosyanov and Anton Markland. On the back row, Topi Heikkinen and Gaetan Sarazan. Look forward to seeing how the Peugeots get on. Both the Peugeot Hansens in this one, as are both the VW Markland cars. On board with Timo Timosyanov, the current champion, double European champion, Russian driver, has got his eyes locked on the lights already. Timmy Hansen, hands on the wheel. Quick look across. Gripping the wheel. Look how fired up he is. He's pulling against the belts. He's watching the man with the green flag. Quickly goes down through the start procedure. There's a lot to do to get them off the line. Let's see who's going to get it dead right. Away Oh, and Hansen's been dumped off the line. Timosyanov's come around the outside, and so has Tiedemann. Markland too. So Hansen has gone down into 4th place. He's alongside Markland. Hansen will be desperate to hold on to 3rd. He's on the inside. Oh, he's down the gravel. Timmy Hansen's down the gravel. He's dropped way back. So Heikkinen's gone around the outside of them as well, and so has Serezan. So that bad start. What happened?
Yeah, terrible, of course. Maybe too low on the RPM because he got away, but it seems like the engine had no power. It seems to be working now, so I think not so much RPM.
What a shame for Timmy Hansen. He's got a few laps to make it up. Remember, it's a 6-lap semi-final. At the minute, though, it's Tiedemann from Timosyanov. Hansen has got around Markland, so Hansen's in front of Markland. Both those guys are jokers, so they now need to push like hell. We know that Hansen has got the pace to make up some of that time. Eric, he's got 6 laps to do it. Can he make up enough time to get into the back of the final, maybe?
Yeah, he's been fastest all weekend, so, you know, if he gets the free track now, I think he can make it to the 3rd place and get into the final. We still need some luck.
Pontus Tiedemann leading this one, of course, fresh off the back of the WRC2 win in Germany. Tiedemann, I think, is feeling very confident.
Yeah, of course. And he got a quite easy start now when Timmy stalled and he was alone in the 1st row. But perfect for him, of course.
Timosyanov, I think, probably did quite well to avoid collecting his teammate off the line.
Yeah, of course. And also great for him. He has struggled a bit, and now he's 2nd and just... Yeah, he can follow Tiedemann and just make it safe to the final if he wants.
Heikkinen is up in 3rd place. Heikkinen has had a bit of an out of sorts weekend. I think Heikkinen's just gone to the Joker lap. He has. So Heikkinen is in the Joker lap now. You're on board with Timmy Hansen, looking at the back, I think, of Gaetan Serezan. So he's chasing Serezan down. Hansen's coming out alongside, and he gets in front of Heikkinen. So Hansen is in front of Heikkinen. Oh, and Serezan runs wide.
Puncture.
Puncture. Hansen gets through. So Hansen is now up into 3rd place. 2 cars in front of him, and neither of them are jokers. So looks like Hansen's going to make it through, but we've seen enough action in this semi-final so far to know we mustn't count our chickens right until the checkered flag has fallen. Oh, how sideways in the background. Look at Heikkinen, he's all over the back of Hansen. He's desperate to get back past. He knows top 3 go through, bottom 3 go out.
Yeah, this is the battle now for 3rd. I think Tiedemann and Timosyanov will have a clean run, make it to the final, and the battle will be between Timmy and Toppy, and also Anton, because he's quite close behind.
So a decent battle for that 3rd place spot. Tiedemann way out in front, Timosyanov 2 laps to go. Both those guys, you look at the top of your screen, their graphics are orange. That means they haven't jokered yet. Timosyanov very, very sideways in turn 2. You're looking at Tiedemann in front. It's a tight hairpin to the right if they want to go to the Joker. I don't think either, and Timosyanov, I think, has gone to the Joker. Looks like Timosyanov has gone to the Joker. Yeah. He has. So Timosyanov Joker's over the crest. He's run wide. Timosyanov's too quick in the Joker lap. He's lost time.
Yeah.
Hansen's past Timosyanov. Is Timosyanov going to lose out on his place in the semi-final? Hansen through Timosyanov, slots back into 3rd place. Unbelievable. And he's sideways again. Just manages to hold on to it. The 2 VW Markans are all over the back of the 2 Hansen Peugeots. Wow, Tiedemann out front, then Tiedemann's got a Joker. Has he got enough time, Eric? I think he has, but I mean, look at what happened to Timosyanov.
Yeah, I think it was there's a small jump in the Joker lap, and he lost control of the car and went too fast into the chicane.
Do you think he jumped too far, left it too late to brake?
Yeah, maybe a bit too hard. I think they normally brake a little bit over the jump. Maybe he was too fast.
Perfect job by Tiedemann through the Joker lap. No problems for him. Serezan is going slowly in the final corner. They're all closing down on him. He stays out the way. Around the last right-hander, Pontus Tiedemann is going to win semi-final number 1. He books his place in the final, and both the Hansen Peugeots are going to go through. Timmy Hansen and Timosyanov go through. The VW Markland's just missing out. Wow, I have to say, great job by Timmy Hansen. Apart from that start, the start was awful, but he forged his way back in.
Yeah, he did exactly what he needed to do after the bad start. Yeah, perfect, and great for Peugeot to have both cars.
At their home event, home event. Pontus Tiedemann, Timmy Hansen, Timosyanov go through. That's the championship points down the right. Heikkinen, Markland and Serezan are out. Neil Cole is down on the spotters tower with the EKR RX team.
It was a dramatic race, but Pontus was leagues ahead of everyone.
This is my guy. This is my guy. If you look at this, it's at his lap times. I mean, 37.2, and his Joker is really, really good. I mean, he gets in there, he just kills the race. Brilliant.
Brilliant job by him, but the final, has he got enough tyres left? Can he win?
He can win. He can win for sure, I promise you. We will do our best to support him as good as possible, so tyres is not an issue, I don't think.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's have a look at the replays from that one. Maybe we can figure out exactly what happened to Hansen at the start. So away from the line, Eric.
Yeah, I actually can't see what happens, but my guess is, yeah, too little RPM.
So the car just bogs away from the line, and that was it. He got eaten alive on the way down to turn 1. This was Hansen on board on the first lap. At this point, I didn't think he was in the barrier, but I did not think he'd be going through to the final.
No,
certainly not in second.
Yeah, he had to be very aggressive. And he also passed Markland on the first lap.
Timosyanov here really gifted the position to Hansen. You can see Hansen comes steaming past. I thought Timosyanov did pretty well to get back out, but Tiedemann, absolutely faultless drive out front. Brilliant job over the line. And look at the VW Marklands in the background, flat out, desperate to see if they can just get it done. But it's 2 Peugeot Hansens through at their home event. They're lining up on the grid already for semi-final number 2. The first 4 cars are in place. Petter Solberg on pole. Here's the full grid lineup for you. Petter Solberg on pole with Reinis Nitish alongside him. Jérôme Grosset-Janin, the top Frenchman in qualifying, and Andreas Bakkerud. And then Ken Block and Andy Scott. Ken Block with that mistake yesterday forgot to joker, so got a 30-second penalty. If it hadn't been for that, I think Block would be further up the grid. Andy Scott's done a fantastic job against a very, very strong field to go through, but it's been brilliant driving by the Scotsman. He's done a great job to get that car onto the back of the grid. Let's see if everyone can get it away from the line cleanly this time. Petter on pole. We saw what happened to Timmy. Nitish alongside him. They've both got great results in semi-finals. Green flag at the front. The marshal walks across. Anti-lag on. It's very noisy up in commentary, away from the line. Vibration from the engines, incredible noise. Ken Block has a look up the inside, but it's Solberg who manages to get through, and Block goes from the back row. Oh no, that's Nitish off in the gravel on the outside. Or is it Bakkerud? Who was off in the gravel? It was Bakkerud. Bakkerud got punted off in the gravel on the outside, so he got collected by a shunt which went all the way across the road. Grosset-Janin down in 4th, and that's sorry, Andy Scott and Grosset-Janin have gone to the jug together. Grosset-Janin gets fired. That's a racing incident or not, Eric?
Yeah, I think it's a racing incident. It's the first lap and it's chaos everywhere here. But maybe suspension broke on Grosset-Janin's car there.
Well, he's got it away again, but Grosset-Janin is a long way back. Solberg is leading at the end of the first lap. Nitish is right behind him, and Ken Block from the back row. Very aggressive into turn 1. And I mean, what's your take on that, Eric? It'd be great to see the replays in a minute, but wow.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything illegal, but you know, it's the first lap and the semi-final, and everybody wants to be in the top 3. So that's how it is.
Well, Ken Block has done the best possible chance of making his way up to the final. Straight up to 3rd on the first lap. Petter Solberg looks like he's going to go through as well. We know what happened last year. He hadn't looked after his tyres, and we have seen Petter with that spectacular style. Sideways everywhere. It's going to come down to who gets away from the grid quickest in the final. Solberg from Nitish still. Nitish is right behind him. 2 very different driving styles.
Yeah, very different. Petter is always sideways and Reinis is very clean. But as you can see, they're equally fast. So we'll see who gets out on top. But I think Solberg has got this now.
Solberg then into the fast right-hander, half distance. Grosset-Janin and Andy Scott, the only people who joked on that first lap when they had that contact. Andy Scott just losing touch with the back of the pack a little bit now, those top 3. And their Bakkerud's actually closing the gap down a bit on Block, but both those guys have still got the joker, so Bakkerud struggling to get the car turned in. Nitish down at turn 1, chasing Solberg. Nitish, of course, won here last year in Super 1600. I think he won every heat, the semi and the final. He hasn't been able to reproduce that in Supercar.
No, but of course it's more difficult here. A lot of great drivers. But he had a good run in Super 1600 last year, and he knows the track very well. Yeah, and he's now 2nd in the semi-final. So
going to be going through championship fighters, of course. At the minute, it's Solberg from Heikkinen, Nitish, Bakkerud, Markland, and Timosyanov with the top 6 in the championship. Them are through already, and it looks like a few more are going to go through in this one. Ken Block got a podium last time out. Can he get another podium this time? He was with us in Norway. Look at the American star now, the Hoonigan. Have a look online if you've never seen any of his work. He's got impressive car control, and this weekend I think he surprised quite a few people, Ken Block. I thought he might struggle here compared to in Norway.
Yeah, but he's been fast every time he's been out. So yeah, it's a bit of a surprise for everyone.
Joker lap for Nitish, I think, around the long right-hander. Oh, and Ken Block in front now. So Nitish has joked and he is right now behind Ken Block. So when Ken Block jokes, he's going to go back in front. So Nitish has decided that's the best bet. He knows to get past Ken. And Petter is waiting. Oh, now we're hearing a warning for Andy Scott. So we're hearing there's a warning for Andy Scott, and I'm guessing that'll be for the first lap contact. Just underneath us, we can see them put the warning board out for him.
Yeah, it was maybe a bit too aggressive, they think, on the first lap.
Petter's gone into the joke lap. Here we go, up and over the crest. Look at that, sideways on the landing. Beautifully clips the curbs. In has gone Block with him. Nitish is coming around the outside. Who's going to go to the front row? Solberg comes out in front. Nitish slots into second. It's Block in third. Great job by these three. They tried to do the Joker thing, see if they could overtake. It didn't happen, so Solberg goes through to the front row. Nitish to the second row. Block to the third row. Great drive by those three. Baccarat misses out. Andy Scott as well, and then Grosset-Janin is in the background, waiting to come through to the final. Solberg's pleased. That's what he needed. He's on the front row. He might be able to do the triple here. He's the only double winner so far this year. He'll be looking for three, and that would certainly strengthen his position at the top of the championship table. Has he got the tyres left to get the job done? Here's the replays. Away from the line, Eric. Looked like a pretty even start. It's all about turn one.
Yeah, everybody's quite even, and that makes it a bit of a chaos in the first corner. Backward goes out in gravel, and he could never catch up with that again.
Block came across, didn't he, and kind of hit, I think, Grosset-Janin. Grosset-Janin hit backward, but again, it's a racing incident. It's
yeah, of course, some people are more aggressive than others, but yeah, it's very hard to decide if it's illegal or if it's too much.
Yeah, sure.
When it's first corner. But yeah, that's...
And we don't want to see the driver so restricted either that they don't go for it, do we? No. It was a great start from Ken Block and a really great move to go straight through to third, and that was where he ended up. If he hadn't done that, he probably wouldn't have made it. Packed crowd. Petter Solberg takes the win in semi-final number 2. Rainis Nitish in second, Ken Block in third. Baccarat, Andy Scott and Jerome Grosset-Janin will go no further. Here's the grid for the final. Front row will be Petter Solberg and Pontus Tiedemann. Row 2, Timmy Hansen and Rainis Nitish. And row 3, Timosyanov and Ken Block. Brilliant action from the two semi-finals. Very much looking forward to the final, seeing that lineup. It's going to be something else. This will be exciting too. This is the Super 1600 final up next. Most of the usual suspects are through. They're on the grid, but they're going to be waiting a couple of minutes yet before the race starts. We're going to have a look at Timmy Hansen's semi-final from his onboard.
Yep.
Here it is. So this was at the start. Maybe this looks like Timosyanov to me.
Yep.
So Hansen was on the right. It's on board with Timosyanov, looking at Hansen on the right-hand side there. Tiedemann taking the lead into turn one. I mean, obviously we can't see what happened to Hansen, but you could see what a difference that start makes. You've only got to miss it by a tiny bit.
Yeah. And he's quite quick with the lights, so I think the problem was the RPM, as I said before. Because he gets away, but then the engine goes down and he lost power.
When we went on board with Timmy as well, you could see him still flicking switches on the dash. It was like he was getting prepared to go. I mean, maybe he missed the start completely. I mean, it'd be interesting to find out later on.
Yeah, maybe some mistake, but I think he's focused and he knew what he did. But yeah, you always want to get as low on the RPM as you can to get as much grip as possible without wheel spin. So yeah, you want to go as low as you can, but you still need to get away.
I mean, this is the hottest it's been all day, seeing this on board from Timosyanov. I mean, it is so hot up in commentary, and it will be twice as hot down there in the cars. Could it be that the track temperature is that much hotter, there was a bit more grip than he thought?
Yeah, of course it changes and it gets warmer, so normally you need to put the RPM a bit higher during the day because there's more rubber in the tarmac also. But that's yeah. I think everybody counts that in, and Timmy knew what he was doing. But maybe
So maybe sometimes it goes your way and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
Eric Farren alongside me up in commentary. Eric, of course, a double supercar competitor this year. We're on board with Timosyanov, following through the long, fast right-hander. It's Tiedemann in front of him, who took the win in that semi-final. There's the long right-hander. Brilliant stuff from the Russian. Looking forward at the very talented Tiedemann. Well, you can see just how incredibly hot it is here in Loheac from the crowd there. That's a look down at Petter Solberg's pit area. They've got the tyres outside ready to refit. And they know that they're short on time. Petter, of course, was in semi-final number 2, so not much time to get back down there. The crowds here are massive. Luckily, they're all around the track at the minute, Eric, because otherwise the delay getting back to your pit area can be massive.
Yeah, there's so much people in the paddocks. Yeah. And the paddock is open, everybody can go and watch what they want. So
here's a look at the touring cars final from earlier on today. Rear-wheel drive, 2-litre cars. It was a very, very bad start for Larsen, Eric, wasn't it? He lost out, he was on the front row and just went backwards.
Yeah, it seems like he had some engine trouble. It was not working as it should.
3 cylinders, we thought, when it came past us a couple of times. Daniel Lund in the Volvo, currently leading the championship. And it's good for him because his main competitor hasn't made it, Eric.
No, Torleif Lona, he didn't make it from the semi-final, so I think he gained some points now.
It's a win for Nordgaard, and Lund was second.
Congratulations, David. How was it?
Wonderful, thank you. It was wonderful. We have worked so much with the new car the whole year, and finally now we are there. Now everything works well, so I'm very happy.
And what was the secret on the track?
Calm down, drive small, don't tow. Yeah. I don't know actually right now. I'm not quite sure what's the reason, but yeah, it was good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
These are the championship standings. Lund was leading by 11 points from Lona, but look at the difference now. A lot of pressure from Norway behind him, but he's doing the job for Sweden. So Lund now with a better championship lead as we head towards the final 2 rounds of the Touring Car Championship in Germany and Italy. Here's Petter's team. Look at the crowd around the car. Live pictures of them re-prepping it. Petter looking relaxed while people are taking his picture. Absolutely mobbed in France. One of the most popular drivers, along with Ken Block, of course. Time, though, for the Super 1600 final. Steven Bossard and Andrea Dubourg on the front row. Very, very popular front row, as you would imagine here in France. Nikita Yulia and Sergei Zagumenov on the second row. And on the back row, Linnemann and Liebner. So Zagumenov and Yulia on row 2 are the guys who are currently in first and second place in the championship. The gap between them is 25 points. So Zagumenov in the works-coloured Skoda has a very, very healthy lead indeed over this man, Nikita Yulia, in the orange Favier. Away from the line, though, Bossard hooked it up really well. Nikita Yulia looks like he might have lost out to Zagumenov down to turn 1. Zagumenov shuts the door on him, but Bossard is leading. Oh, Zagumenov brutal into the side there of Dubourg. Bossard's away. Dubourg manages to get in second place. Zagumenov into third.
Yeah, very aggressive into the first corner. He had a good start, but yeah, and he tried to go on the inside of Dubourg, but couldn't make it. So the 2 French Clios are first.
So Linnemann's gone straight to the joke lap. Eric, of course, you were in this final last year, or you're certainly competing in Super 1600 last year with your C2. You're missing it this weekend, I know.
Yeah, of course. I really miss this, especially this class, actually, this category, because they're really fun to drive. And circuits like this, where you have quite high speed all over the track, these cars are really great to drive.
I know you were talking to me about the sequence of corners, weren't you? From the last corner round to the straight is just gear, gear, gear with a tiny bit of braking. And
full throttle for half of the track. So.
Brilliant fun, brilliant fun. And fantastic racing from Super 1600 as always. Zagumenov and Yulia have gone to the Joker together.
Yeah, they're teammates, but they're still fighting for the championship. So, yeah, but maybe mistake from Yulia. But
they're going to merge, and they've lost out there. Liebner hasn't done the Joker, but they're caught behind him now. Are they going to lose time? Yulia with a look up the inside. Yulia's gone up the inside of Zagumenov. That's the second place championship man for the championship leader. Fantastic move by Nikita.
Yeah, he dived on the inside in the last corner. Great move, and he got by, but
Zaguimenov doesn't look like he's that happy, does he? To be honest, Zaguimenov right. Oh, Zaguimenov in the back of Yulia. Yulia's on the lock stops. Zaguimenov hits him again. He hits him again. A warning for that, Eric, or not?
Yeah, probably. It will be interesting to see what the stewards think about. They're having their own little Russian battle.
Bossard and De Bourg, sorry, Bossard and De Bourg. So De Bourg has popped out in front of Bossard on the right-hand side. You can see them preparing the cars for the Supercar final. We're looking at a train of Super 1600 cars coming past our commentary position. De Bourg in front of Bossard. De Bourg still has to do his Joker lap, so Bossard is in the best seat in the house, basically, to take the win on this one. Miss Yulia in third.
Yeah, he's got a little gap now to Zaguimenov, maybe that's good for him.
Through the Joker lap now for De Bourg, so Bossard is going to take the lead here, I'm sure, around the outside. Look at the lead he's got, fantastic jobs. It's all about whether De Bourg can really please the French crowd and get out in front of Miss Yulia. He does. They break into applause immediately. It's Bossard leading from De Bourg with 2 laps to go. Miss Yulia is right behind De Bourg, though. They're cheering them on as they come past the start-finish line. Brilliant job with French drivers in first and second place ahead of the championship regulars.
Yeah, that's quite normal here in France, especially in Super 1600. They have a very strong national championship, so the French drivers is normally in the final in the European rounds also.
And that's why Nitish was so proud to win here last year, I guess, because it's such a hard event to win. Bossard sweeps around that right-hander. He's so far out in front. He's a real Super 1600 specialist, Eric.
Yeah, he's been doing Super 1600 in France for a lot of years, and he's won the European round before. So, yeah.
The battle then is for second place. De Bourg is in it at the minute, and the man in the orange Favier, Nikita Yulia, Russian driver, won a Lada Challenge, I think it was last year, which got him a one-off drive in the World Touring Car Championship this year. Came and joined Rallycross, and to be honest, it's been a bit of a revelation. We're looking at Ulrich Linnemann out of our commentary window, who is one of the championship front runners in 4th place at the minute, but he's got a puncture. Oh, Miss Yulia all over the back of De Bourg, but it's through the final 2 corners. He's not going to get it done. Through the left and then the right. Steven Bossard is going to take this one, and he's going to set the French crowd off. Oh, Miss Yulia up the inside of De Bourg, contact. Fireworks go off for Bossard as he wins. Miss Yulia passes for second place. His wheel is off. De Bourg's off in the gravel trap as well. Carnage at the last corner. So the French crowd, I think, are very, very pleased for the Bossard win. The fireworks were off. What's going to happen about that result? Interesting to see if that was taken away from Miss Yulia or not. That was a pretty enthusiastic move, let's say, at the last corner. De Bourg parked in the gravel trap. That's going to need dragging out. He's on the roof. Bossard is on the roof. Lapping up a massive home crowd here. De Bourg waves to the crowd as well, acknowledges the fantastic support the French drivers have had here all weekend. They absolutely love their rallycross. There are rallycross tracks littered all over France. It's such a popular sport, particularly in this region. Here's the result. Bossard takes the win from Miss Yulia, and De Bourg, Zaguimenov in 4th, Libner and Linnemann in 6th with that puncture. Bossard on his way back in, very happy. Here's the replays, Eric, off the start.
Yeah, they're quite equal in the start, everybody. Bossard has a clean start. Zaguimenov with a very brutal move there. But then he got a bit back from Miss Yulia. We can see here Miss Yulia. Yeah, they had their own little battle.
Yeah, they did, didn't they? A little Russian fight going on. I wonder if they'll have words with each other in the team later.
Yeah.
Good job by Miss Yulia to get past there. Bossard was well out in front, and then this was what happened at the finish line. Bossard took the win, and in the background, fireworks went off. Miss Yulia, more fireworks went off on the track. Miss Yulia running De Bourg wide. And we'll see. I mean, maybe the result will stand, maybe it won't. It was borderline.
Yeah. I think it was a bit hard to move in the last corner, but yeah, we'll see what happens.
Steven Bossard, of course, was, I think, Andrew Jordan's engineer in Lydden Hill with the OMSC team. I recognise him now, he's taking his crash helmet off. I remember chatting with him there. Over 40,000 fans here today, lapping up the action, and they will have been super pleased with that result for the French drivers. Certainly a double podium, and definitely a win Just depends where Miss Yulia is going to end up, doesn't it? Bossard hooks around the left-hander that takes him down the return road to the paddock in front of the crowd. Jumping out in front of them. You can hear them cheering. It's a brilliant, brilliant atmosphere here. I hope you're picking that up at home. Wonderful stuff. Bossard definitely a worthy winner. Got the job done all weekend. There are all those French fans, as I say, 40,000 of them here. Well, we're nearly ready for the supercar final. They're lining up on the grid underneath us. Before that, I think we're going to be able to have a chat with Neil, who is down with Stephen Bossard right now.
Steve, what an incredible race. How was it in the cockpit?
It was just awesome. I took a very good start, and then I had a good pace. So during the last lap, I was thinking about the victory, but I managed to do it. I'm very happy. My last one was 3 years ago, so emotional, and I'm very, very happy.
Well, the fans are very happy too. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Brilliant home win. This is the one, though, that everybody is looking forward to seeing. No French drivers, sadly, through to the final of Supercar. But plenty of French interest with the manufacturers. Petter Solberg and Pontus Tiedemann, Scandinavian front row. Timmy Hansen and Rainis Nitish on row 2. Timosyanov and Ken Block bringing up the rear. Both the Peugeot Hansens in the final. Timmy then, who's been the fastest driver all weekend, will be desperate to hook the start up like he didn't quite manage to in his semi-final. On board, super focused. This time he'll have all the switches and everything in the right position, and he'll hope to pick the right RPM to judge the grip just right. Remember, the tyres degrade all day, the temperature changes, they've got to get it just right. Not too much wheel spin. You don't want to bog down. There's Nitish. Look how quickly they have to get everything set up, ready to go. Green flag. He's off the grid. The cars will be soon. Very even start across front row. Petter Solberg looks like he's got it done. Hansen's going to have a look up the inside of Nitish. Maybe contact between them. Solberg. Nitish has got it done on Tiedemann. Nitish has done Tiedemann. Onto the back straight then. It's Solberg, Nitish, Tiedemann. Timosyanov is on the outside. Hansen on the inside. Hansen's going to want to defend his place from Timosyanov. Who's going to go for Joker? Tiedemann goes Joker straight away. Hansen hits Timosyanov. Block's gone to the Joker lap. It's Solberg leading from... off! That's off Timosyanov. He's off in the barrier. Oh, is that the contact, Eric?
I don't know. I couldn't see. But that's not good, of course, for the Peugeot team.
So they won't be too pleased. At least he's driven into a Peugeot barrier, so maybe a bit more coverage for them. Really on brand. Timosyanov always on brand. Petter Solberg into turn 1. Nitish is right behind him. Hansen is there, so Hansen is on for the podium. Tiedemann and Block have both gone to the Joker lap. They went on the first lap. Good move or not?
Yeah, I think it was a good move. Tiedemann was almost first into the first corner, but it was a bit too fast and lost some ground. And then he took the Joker, and now he's in a quite good position, actually.
Solberg, listen to the pop and the bang when he gets on the brakes at the end of the straight. You can hear the wastegate chattering away, that wonderful sound that's been familiar to rallycross fans for such a long time. Into the right-hander. Nitish is right behind him. Hansen's there too. Both those two guys, Nitish and Hansen, with the super tidy driving style. Last year, Solberg was leading. Look how sideways he is. The rear tyres are smoking. 36.9 from Timmy Hansen. Eric Farren pointing at the screen. That's super quick, Eric.
Yeah, very good lap time from Timmy. He really wants to win now.
I bet he does. Lap 3 out of 6, Timmy Hansen. He stays on the standard lap, I think. I thought he was going to go Joker, but he didn't. He's right there behind Solberg and Nitish. They've managed to gap Tiedemann and Block a little bit behind them, but how much time do they need, Eric?
They need about 2 seconds, and it seems like they're putting a bit bigger gap, as you said. A bit of understeer from Timmy.
So tyres going off or in too quick?
Yeah, of course, the tyres are worse than ever now during the day, so we still managed to do a very good lap time there.
Petter Solberg, rear tyres smoking again. Solberg now, look at the front end of the car dip. He hits the brakes with full commitment. around the right-hander. Nitish goes to the Joker. Nitish's gone to the Joker lap now, over the crest, through the chicane. Oh, Nitish locked a wheel, definitely on the brakes, through the chicane. Hansen and Solberg are ahead of him, of course, but he wants to come out in front of Ken Block. He does. Where's Tiedemann gone? What happened to Tiedemann? Tiedemann's dropped a long way back. Either way, Block is there. Solberg rounds the last right-hander. Hansen through there as well. Nitish is right behind him now. So Nitish, I think, is close enough to Hansen, and Tiedemann has got a problem, definitely.
Yeah, he's got a puncture in the rear.
A puncture in the rear then. Eric Farren looking out the window, spotting things that we don't spot as fast as he does, because he's a brilliant rallycross driver, and we're just excited rallycross fans. Down the back straight, Solberg is now miles in front. He's got to build up enough of a gap. Really, the danger man is Nitish, isn't he?
Yeah, but I think now that he's in front, he can do his own driving, you know. And then he's leading the championship, so he's one of the best, of course. So I think he will get away with this now.
Hansen looks to be really struggling to get the car turned in, just through that last corner again. No such problem for Solberg at the minute. Both the tyres are smoking again. Don't make a mistake now, Petter. Look at that. Typical Solberg style. Incredibly quietly got the job done this weekend. This is the final lap. Around the right-hander. Up and over the crest, sits it down as we saw him doing the semi, pops one of the curbs, then the other. Hansen's following around. Nitish is coming around the outside. It's going to be really close between those two, Hansen and Nitish. Nitish gets into the second position. Hansen is in third. But it's all about this man. Petter Solberg does the triple. It's a three-peat for the Norwegian driver. And he pitches the car into a massive spin at turn one. Incredible job by him. The championship leader extends that margin, I'm sure, this weekend. Wasn't sure he was going to be able to get that win, but he's got it done in the conditions we didn't think would suit him. Petter has been the first driver to win 3 events in the World Rallycross Championship. Amazing.
Yeah, perfect race. He has not been quickest during the event, but yeah, he's been there, and he managed to get into the front row of the final, took the start, and then it was finished.
Well, Neil Cole is on the spotter's tower. I'm guessing probably with Pernilla Solberg.
Well, he's denting the roof again, which can only mean one thing, another victory. How are you feeling?
It feels great. It has been a tough weekend. It's been hard for the tires, but the team has been working really, really hard to get this victory. It feels so good.
And such a big field, lots of French drivers, big names, and he still didn't buckle under pressure.
Yeah, it's a difficult track. It's difficult to keep the nerves, and it's very tough on the tires. And we're so happy with a big French crowd, and it's been a great weekend.
Well done, thank you.
Thanks.
Timosyanov walking back. He's unhappy. Petter Solberg is over the moon. He's done that roof again, hasn't he? He promised us this weekend he wouldn't be changing it all season. I can't see the point now if he's going to ruin it by winning and then jumping on it all the while. Crowd cheering. Here is the result. Petter Solberg with his 3rd win of the season. A brilliant drive. Reinis Nitish is 2nd. Timmy Hansen gets a podium for Peugeot in 3rd. Ken Block 4th. Tiedemann 5th. And a DNF for Timosyanov. Here's the replays then. Away from the line. Tiedemann ran a bit wide, out in the dirt. And Nitish slotted straight through that gap. It was a lovely job by Nitish getting through there.
Yeah, he did a good start. And it's the same with him as Solberg. He's been quiet all weekend. Just doing a good job. Not fastest, but doing a good job. Now he's 2nd. On the podium again, so
I wasn't expecting these two guys to be the guys we would be talking about. You know,
no.
I knew they were going to be there. They're always there, but somehow they've just snuck around in the background, haven't they? Got the job done, and surely that's what you have to do to win a championship.
Yeah, and a lot of it is decided in the semi-final also, especially on this track where it's quite hard to overtake. So very good job by these two.
There was that win for Petter. Bit of handbrake action. I'm guessing he was hoping to pitch that into some donuts. Didn't quite work out. Too much grip at Loheac. Either way, another ruined roof and another fist pump for Solberg. It's a triple win. Petter passing down the long line of spectators on that return road, waving out the side of the car. Nitish stopped down there earlier, didn't he? We saw him. I think he's grabbed a Latvian flag, didn't he, from the looks of things from the crowd?
Yeah.
Timosyanov with the checkered flag. So Timosyanov with a checkered flag is walking around the long sweeper back, waving at the crowd, and I think they appreciate that. He's got a brilliant sense of humour, Tim, hasn't he?
Yeah. I didn't see exactly what happened when he stopped after the hairpin, but something was wrong, obviously.
Bit of contact between him and Timmy. He's determined. He's determined to ruin that roof. He's going to have to put a new one on there at some point. He's going to fail scrutineering in the end, isn't he?
Yeah, of course.
A brilliant win for Petter. He's looking very, very strong for the championship now, Eric.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job, and yeah, you know, he's doing what he needs to do. Maybe not fastest always, but yeah, he's always there and always been in a final. So he's going for the championship this year.
Very definitely on a mission. 2 wins in a row as well. You know, we had 6 different winners in 6 different events, and suddenly Petter's won 2 in a row. Is that going to give him even more momentum, Eric?
Yeah, of course. Every success brings a lot more motivation and self-confidence. So yeah, he's on a good way to win the championship.
See the crowd rushing down towards the podium. Timosyanov wandering back, forlornly waving, with his injured hand, in fact, there, forlornly waving a checkered flag. If you missed it earlier on this weekend, Timmer unfortunately took a tumble down some stairs, cut his hand on a fence, and he ended up with a quick trip off to the medics. They seem to think he was all right, and he's done a good job this weekend. It's a bit of a shame for Timothy, and a shame for Peugeot. I really thought Timmy could win here, but he went wrong in the semi-final, didn't it?
Yeah, he needed to be in the front row.
For the final, yeah.
Yeah, so the semi-final decided a lot there, unfortunately. But still, he's on the podium, and that's good for him and for Peugeot.
Turn 1 is so important here. That front row can be critical. I'm sure we'll hear from Hansen what went wrong later, but looking forward to seeing those top drivers step up onto the podium in just a few moments' time. Podium is ready to go, but before he gets up on the top step, let's have a quick chat with Petter Solberg.
Petter, your 3rd win of the season. How does it feel? That looked good.
What the hell do you think? It's unbelievable. And basically, my car is not best for this track, to be honest with you. And to get back and win it was fantastic. We had a very good tire strategy. So maybe in some of the heats, you know, we didn't have maybe the fastest times, but it doesn't matter. Unbelievable. I'm so, I don't know what to say.
And it's dramatic behind you, but you stayed out of trouble, and it's a win for a Citroën in France, which is good. Yeah,
unfortunately, I don't have the cooperation with Citroën, but anyway, I'm happy to drive a Citroën. It's a very good car, and it's been a great weekend. A lot of people, just amazing. What can I say? I have to say one thing. My son have been driving cross kart this weekend without me, and Pernilla is there, and he was Swedish champion yesterday. So I can tell you, very happy father and son.
Thank you, Petter. Well done.
Thanks.
Well, let's have a look at the championship standings after that 3rd win for Petter Solberg. He was leading by 20 points from Topi Heikkinen. He's now leading from Reinis Nitish, so Nitish gets the jump on Heikkinen. 185 points for Petter at the top. Nitish, Heikkinen, Backrud, Markland, and Hansen moving a bit further up there as well with a good weekend. Timosyanov and Tiedemann round out the top 8. Here's the team standings. Ford OMSE have managed to make a small gap, 12 points. They were equal, remember, coming into this event, and they're now 12 points clear of VW Markland Motorsport. Peugeot Hansen have definitely closed the gap down to those top 2 teams. Hansen and Nitish are on the podium already. They're waiting for just one man. Petter Solberg bounds up the steps, becoming a familiar sight. The first people to congratulate him, Hansen and Nitish, which is nice to see. Jumping up and down on our podium, not quite so easy to ruin as his roof. It's an ominous sight for the other competitors, isn't it, I think, Eric?
Yeah. I think all three of them are quite happy today to be on the podium here. Of course, Timmy had a good heat run and he was going for the win. Of course, everybody's going for the win, but I think they're quite happy, all three.
He looks happy enough, doesn't he? With Timmy, you can tell from his face whether he's happy or not, and he looks happy enough. I'm sure when we talk to him later, he would have loved the win, but he did get the podium, and really it was a great recovery from that semi-final. Nitish, you know, just quietly, as we said, got the job done. He moves up to second in the championship.
Yeah, there's always no mistakes and doing a good job always. That pays off.
Petter, though, with the win. Big cheer from the crowd. I think that's the biggest cheer a non-Frenchman would have got for winning here in France. Listen to that. He's going to need a bigger trophy cabinet. I think Petter will have got the Monster Energy Supercharge Award again as well.
Yep.
Heading down into turn 1 first. Champagne ready to go. The Monster Energy girls get soaked. And the drivers do too. Pontus Tiedemann, we think, got the Supercharger Award, in fact. A cheers from Petter to Timmy and Rainis. A champagne shower for Petter Solberg. Oh dear, and for the girls as well. Oh dear, the look said all you needed to know, didn't it? No, Rainis. But he's a happy chap. All fun and games up on the podium as always. Petter soaking wet. But very, very happy indeed. Here's some shots from the final. Fantastic slow motion there of Tiedemann, really, really sideways. This was the hairpin down at the far end. You can see Timozyanov parked over on the left-hand side of the road already. Solberg used his tyres hard all weekend, Eric, but somehow he had enough left in the final.
Yeah, and maybe he saved them a bit. I don't know how he saved them with that driving style, but he said he did, and yeah, it was enough. He had enough tyres left. Great strategy.
Neil Colt is with our second place driver, Rainis Nitish.
Rainis, a very, very impressive weekend and a great final, but you didn't quite have enough to challenge Petter Solberg.
Actually, now in this time I can say that I was faster, a little bit faster than Petter, but you know, experience and more things. But it's amazing to be behind World Rally Championship. I'm so happy and I'm so proud with my team Solberg MSC. Ford Fiesta ST went well and I did actually a good job, I think. I am promised with myself, with my father, with my family, and yeah.
Did you know, when I spoke to Petter before the semi-final and the final, it's you that he's looking out for more than anyone else in the field?
The team strategy was, I had the best tires ever from all drivers for the semi-final and the final as well. I didn't remember what you asked me because, you know, I feel tired, actually tired. So emotional, yeah. It's good, amazing.
It's good and amazing, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you got to love Rainis Nitish, haven't you? What a brilliant, brilliant bloke. Just so excited, he can't remember the question.
No.
Super tidy driving style. Has managed to keep enough tyres for him to challenge Petter. Here are those World Championship standings again. Solberg with Nitish now in second. Heiken in his third. Backward stays in fourth. Markand in fifth. Hansen takes over from Timozyanov. So those two drivers have swapped places. Further down, Tanner Faust in ninth place with his appearances last. And of course with that brilliant performance in Lydden Hill. He's in 10th. Henning Solberg. Ken Block also up there. Matthias Ekstrom. Andy Scott. That's a decent performance from him this year. He'll be pleased with that. Johan Christoffersen. And Davy Genet, who just missed out on the semi-finals here in France. Neil Cole is now with our third place man, Timmy Hansen.
Timmy, a podium is great, but it could have been more. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, I definitely wanted more. We had incredible pace this weekend, but I did a mistake both in the semi and in the final to gamble on the RPM for the start, and I went too low twice. So I'm really disappointed with that, but in the semi-final it was incredible. I came from last to second, and the race was insane. And in the final, I stood on the start line and I told myself that the win is everything. So I pushed really hard, and a bit too hard perhaps, but I wanted that. In the end, we have a podium and we're in France with Peugeot, so that's a great result, but we have potential for more.
So what can you do to change it for next time, to make sure those little things aren't quite wrong?
I think tune the driver a little bit. That's it. Thank you.
Timmy Hansen then pleased with that performance in the semi. After the mistake, I think he did a great job to manage to catch back up, Eric.
Yeah, and he had too low on the RPM in the start, as we thought.
Exactly what you said.
So
he was trying to find the most traction. So rather than gambling high and getting loads of wheel spin, he's gambled low to get perfect traction. And you know, whatever it was, he's ended up with too much grip and just bogged down on the line. Crowd are heading down towards, probably towards the exit now, I guess. Looking out across the banking here, there were 40,000 people surrounded this circuit earlier on. It's a figure that F1 in France would have been proud of a few years ago. Not quite so many people as we had last year when Sébastien Loeb was here, but of course Loeb is an absolute legend in France.
Yeah, of course.
And you can see, can't you, their support of their home drivers is really quite special, isn't it? They really love it.
Yeah, and the brands, you know, the car manufacturers, a lot of people, even if Peugeot, for example, has a Swedish and a Russian driver, there's a lot of French people outside there supporting them, or supporting the brand.
Thanks for your help this weekend, Eric. You enjoyed yourself? Obviously, you'd rather have been in the car, I'm sure.
Yeah, of course. But still, I have had a lot of fun, and it's great racing, and it's just great to be back on this track in any way.
Are we going to see you out in a supercar again soon?
Yeah, hopefully. We'll see what happens. I have nothing 100% planned now, but we'll see what happens.
Well, I look forward to seeing that. It'll be good to see you on track as well. I keep losing my co-commentators out to the track, so it's I need to find one who isn't quite as successful as you guys. So the big inflatable Monster Energy can, which of course Andreas Backer had lapped a few times last year after he'd taken the win. It's been a great weekend here. Thank you very much indeed to Eric Fahren for all his help. Let's have a look back at some of the action. Round 8 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship, coming from Loheac in France. It's been spectacular as always. It's been a hot, dry weekend. Seen some good performances, some pretty average performances, and maybe a surprise winner in Petter Solberg, but either way. Toppy Heikkinen struggled all weekend. Andy Scott, you can see in the background there, has done a great job. There's Heikkinen ahead of his teammate Markland. They did make it through in the end. That was where Ken Block ran up the back of one of the French drivers earlier on today. Some fairly robust overtaking manoeuvres we've seen all weekend. It is hard to overtake here in France. If you're going to do it, you really have to be quite decisive about it. Solberg ahead of Nitish. Those two, of course, going on to being first and second. That was the semi-finals. An extremely popular win for Stephen Bossard. The Renault Clio Super 1600, contact behind them, carnage behind them. It was so close in Super 1600. Petter Solberg in the final with Nitish, managed to get the jump on Tiedemann down into turn 2. Timosyanov ended off up in the barriers, unfortunately. Petter Solberg with that incredible car control up over the curbs, moving the car around all the while. Somehow he didn't wear those tyres out, and he went on to do the three-peat. It's a triple for Petter Solberg. He's a World Rally Champion, and he's fast looking like he might become the first ever FIA World Rallycross Champion and the first man to win an FIA driver's title in 2 different disciplines. Can anyone stop the Norwegian? He's very happy indeed. It's been a brilliant weekend. We hope you've enjoyed being with us. We'll be back for Buxtehude in Germany in 2 weeks' time. We'll see you there.